Look at the patch near the edge of your driveway. Low, round leaves. 3 to a stem, sometimes 4 if you were a lucky child. And every spring, you've knelt down and pulled it out by the fistful, or paid somebody to spray it, or bought the bag with the picture of it crossed out in red on the front. Don't. If you're the sort of person who's been fighting the same lawn for 20-odd years, buying fertilizer every April, and watching the whole thing go brown by August anyway, stay with me. By the time we're done, you'll know why this plant got put on the enemy list, what it was quietly doing for your grass the entire time, and how to put it back for about the price of a sandwich. There's also one detail people get wrong that turns the whole thing into a mess. I'll get to it. Get that part wrong, and you'll hate the result. The plant is white clover, and the people who taught you to hate it were lawn care companies. Here's the part that gets me. A lawn with clover in it feeds itself. It doesn't need 4 visits a year. It doesn't need the truck in the driveway, the flag stuck in the grass, the $60 invoice on the door. A self-feeding lawn is a lawn that cancels its subscription, and everything you've been told about clover since about 1955 has been shaped by companies who'd rather you didn't. That's not a theory. There's a paper trail. Ask a gardener today what clover means, and you'll get the same answer every time. It means your soil is poor. It's a sign you've let things slip. Now go find a bag of grass seed from before the Second World War. Clover's in it. Deliberately. White clover was a standard ingredient in premium turf seed mixtures. The good stuff, the expensive stuff, right up until the 1950s. Seed houses put it in on purpose, because everybody in the trade understood that clover fed the grass around it. Then 2,4-D arrived, broadleaf herbicide, developed during the war, sold to American homeowners right after it. It killed dandelion. It also killed clover, because clover is a broadleaf plant, and no spray on earth could tell the two apart. So the industry had a problem. They just built a miracle product that murdered one of the best things in your lawn. They solved it with a dictionary instead of chemistry. As Elizabeth Colbert put it, writing about American lawns in The New Yorker, anything the chemical killed simply got redefined as an enemy. Clover didn't change, the grass didn't change, the definition of a weed changed to match what the bottle was capable of killing. You've been pulling that plant out of your lawn for 50 years because of a marketing decision made before most of us were born. Why did it work in the first place? This is the part that's genuinely old knowledge. Clover is a legume, same family as peas and beans. On its roots it grows small pink-white nodules, and inside those nodules live rhizobium bacteria that pull nitrogen straight out of the air and convert it into a form the plant can use. Farmers were rotating clover into tired fields in England in the 1700s for exactly this reason, centuries before anyone had a word for nitrogen fixation. They just knew the field came back. Your bag of lawn fertilizer is doing the identical job. It's just doing it with natural gas, a factory, a truck, and a price tag. So what does clover actually give you? Start with the fertilizer. A decent stand of white clover fixes somewhere between 75 and 150 pounds of nitrogen per acre per year, and University of Maine Extension puts the working figure right in the middle of that. It doesn't dump it all at once the way a granular feed does. It releases slowly as old roots and nodules break down through the season. Which is why, if you look closely at your own lawn, the grass immediately around a clover patch is usually the darkest green grass you've got. You've probably noticed that and never thought about it. That's your fertilizer bill, growing for free, being pulled up by hand. 2nd August. Cool season grass goes dormant and browns off in a dry spell. Clover roots deeper and holds its color weeks longer. The green patches in a neglected summer lawn are almost always clover. The thing you were told was ruining it is the only thing still alive. 3rd, and this one surprised me the first time I ran the numbers, clover grows to about 4 to 8 inches and then it stops. It has no interest in going taller. A conventional turf lawn wants mowing 25 to 35 times a season. A lawn that's mostly clover wants it a handful of times a year. That's not a small saving when you're 70 and the mower feels heavier than it used to. Fourth, the bees. Researchers at the University of Minnesota counted the insects visiting clover in ordinary suburban lawns and logged over 50 different bee species on it. 56. Not in a meadow, not in a nature reserve. In lawns like yours. Now, putting it back. Seed is cheap. A pound of white clover covers a lot of ground and costs less than a single bag of weed and feed. If you're overseeding into existing grass, you want roughly 2 ounces per 1,000 square feet. Broadcast it by hand on a still morning. The seed is tiny, and the wind will take it. Do it in early spring once the soil's reached about 50 degrees, or in early autumn. Those are your 2 windows. Rake lightly, water, and leave it alone. It germinates in 5 to 10 days. One thing that matters more than the seeding rate, your soil pH. Those bacteria only fix nitrogen properly between pH 6 and 7. Sour soil and the whole arrangement stalls. A $12 test kit answers it in an afternoon. Here's the detail I promised, and it's where people ruin this. More clover is not better. Go too heavy, and you get a blotchy lawn. Big soft clumps of clover, thin patches of grass between them, and bare spots come midsummer, where the clover got scorched. The number you're aiming for is roughly 15 to 20% clover by area. Enough to feed the grass, not enough to take it over. Underseed on purpose. It spreads on its own by runners, and it will find the rest of the lawn without your help. And this one's obvious once said, but people forget every spring, any weed and feed you put down will kill everything you just planted. Read the bag. If it lists 2,4-D, dicamba or quinclorac, it's designed to kill exactly this plant. If you've already sprayed this year, wait at least 3 weeks before you seed. Last thing, clover flowers, and flowers bring bees, and bees end up underfoot. If grandchildren run barefoot across that lawn, mow the flower heads off before they visit. Not a reason to avoid clover, just a reason to own a calendar. I keep coming back to the same thought about all this. Nothing about the plant changed. It fixes nitrogen the same way it did in 1930, when seed companies charged extra to include it. It's the same shape, the same color, in the same lawns. What changed is that somebody invented a chemical that couldn't tell it apart from a dandelion, and rather than admit the chemical had a flaw, they rewrote what counted as a weed. So the next time you're out there on your knees pulling something up, it's worth stopping for a second and asking who taught you it didn't belong. Because half the plants on the enemy list got there the same way clover did. Not because they hurt anything, because there was money in the cure.